right. Welcome back to Everyone Needs an Aquarius. We are back. We had to take a week off just because I needed time.
You needed time. I needed time.
Yeah.
We sort of gave them an episode anyway. We gave y'all Nick Grant.
We gave them Nick Grant, but
we gave him Nick Grant.
Yeah. So it was like it's not like we just didn't do our regular show. That's all.
Yeah. And sometimes it be like that. Like you need a moment, and then you got other stuff. We got extra stuff. So y'all got an episode. It just wasn't.
So y'all got it. Y'all got it.
Yeah. So y'all make sure y'all run that up. That was such a bomb fun interview.
We got people's in the comments tomorrow. They want to hear them talk about the movie more.
Yeah. The movie concept is really dope. So hopefully that is a full circle moment, and we'll be interviewing him again about the movie. Yeah. How are you, friend?
I've been good. Xander's in a play coming up, so I've been trying to help her with this. I'm trying to text her now, tell her to go study her stuff because I hear her up there singing, but she ain't supposed to be doing it.
Oh, is it a musical or no?
No, it's not. It's just a regular play. She's playing like a detective in this play, this murder mystery thing.
Okay.
He's like, it ain't no musical. She just up there singing some random shit like that she want to do. I can hear her. Like, dude, you supposed to be studying your doggone play.
That's funny. Kids are funny.
Oh yeah, she's hilarious, and she's overplaying the role because it's a detective, it's a woman, and the play it's a murder mystery, and she's one of the detectives, so she playing it up.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. That's not my kid. That might be, and Xander might be my kid. Y'all might have my kid for me. That's how I used to be in plays growing up. Oh, which speaking of, I'm in a movie I'm not. I am in the movie. I have some lines.
Okay. You in the movie?
I am in a horror film actually called Do You See Her? It is now on Prime. It has been on the Festival Market winning awards. It is produced by Katy Perry, and produced by Katy and Bentley Evans. So I'm super excited about that. I'm in a scene with my homegirl Marche. Wayne.
You get killed?
No. Oh. I'm black. Right. But also it's not a scene. It's okay. I'll be honest. I'm in the scene. I'm a house guest, like I'm a party goer and everything. So, but I have lines, so I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not at risk. Now, I do have a concept for a short that I want to write out and share with Katy and see how we can make this happen. But if not, I have what we call an iPhone, and I will make it work. I have a short idea for a horror film, and it will be a short. It will be a short. But I saw, and it came from.
It's a full-length feature.
Yeah, it's a full feature. And Tahir's in it. Janae Thompson is in it. Who else is in it? I forgot the lead, her name. But it's really cool. It's like a supernatural, psychological thriller. And it was fun to shoot. So your girl is outside. Y'all can watch that on Prime and support and run it up. I need to do a post about it. She definitely hit me up, and I was like, I know I need to do this, but I get so wrapped up in doing all this other stuff, I forgot. So I'm gonna do it. But also, because I have been spending a lot of time working on getting stuff ready for the other project that I'm working on, the podcast, and it's really. I'm glad we took a step back and pushed things back because it's really, really coming together. Like a lot of the episodes, and we've, interviewed a couple last week that are actually internet friends of mine. They have a podcast called "I Got You Pegged," and we interviewed the couple, and we talk about poly.
The name of that show is always hilarious to me.
Yes. Poly, relationships, marriages, and open marriages, and how that works. So it's coming together, and just crazy stuff. Because we had to do some reshoots, and we did some reshoots, and that was we interviewed Sunday our a porn star, a gay porn star, and it was just, I mean, it was good. We had so much fun, so many questions, and I'm like, so you was an engineer, and now you out here fucking and sucking, like,
Is he a brother too?
No, he's white.
Okay, so was he always gay, or is he gay for pay?
No, he's not gay for pay. He gay. Because I even asked him, I was like, so I said, in some of your scenes, like, have you been open to, you know, sleeping with women where it's like in the setting of like it's you, a man, and another woman? And he was like, no, I've only done scenes like with that, like if it's been a trans woman, you know, things like that. I was like, so you now out here, you know, getting coochie? He said no. I said, oh, okay. So because you'll see a lot of scenes like that with like a lot of the. So he was like, no, like, you know, I try to really, that's clearly not his thing. So I'm okay with that. But we had fun. So yeah, it's just interesting, and you know, like understanding people's like livelihood, how they ended up. He said like it's not like he's been doing porn for like 15 or 20 years. He got pulled into porn via OnlyFans because of a relationship that he was in 2020. So at the time, his boyfriend, you know, kind of was like, oh, you might be good at this. Like, he's like, I've worked at bars in like West Hollywood, and you know, the world shut down. So that's how it came about. And from there, that's how it went into full.
Hold on. This sounds like it's not weird. It's just like, so y'all just started OnlyFans? Like, I guess that could be anybody could do that.
Yeah. And he said, because, you know, like, I mean, you just doing stuff, and, you know, from there building a fan base, and from there, it just segued into, you know.
Yeah, no. I mean, hey, and then you like, dang, well, we're making some real bread on this. Like, let me.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's what it was. And so what he actually said, which was interesting, was because of like how the industry has shifted so much. Mm-hmm. He said that it's not as much money as you would think it is. So, but he was very transparent about that. He was like, you know, so he was like big on like learning how to produce, because like what he said he wanted to always do was like be a writer, and that's how like he knows my friend. They met through somebody because Darren writes. Mm-hmm. So like they're working on developing a project together, which actually will be really good. And he was like, you know, we always see things from like the perspective of a woman. For men, we really don't see what that's like for them to be sex workers. I said, yeah, we get Magic Mike where it's glamorized. So
what you call it? Don't glamorize it. If we go into like boogie nights.
Was that really about? I thought the boogie nights like had like multiple like different like story themes.
No,
but it's also been a minute.
Yeah, it's basically. I mean, it's supposed to be semi-autobiographical of this other male porn star, Michael Marsh or something like that. Hold on, I gotta do it on my phone. I can't do it on this computer. Hold on, let me find out who it is. Hold on. But it's like semi-autobiographical off of him. And he ended up dying of AIDS.
Okay. Like on Instagram, like on Twitter, I know Johnny has 52.
John Holmes. His name is John Holmes.
Okay.
That Boogie Nights is kind of semi-autographically based on.
Okay. Well, he has 152,000 followers.
This man does?
Yeah. This is just on Twitter.
Damn. Oh, he's for real. What are you talking about? You don't make enough. Just 152,000 alone. He gonna be if he can get.
But you know what? I think what he was saying probably versus what it was then versus.
Oh no, because OnlyFans is really popping on.
But even in the sense of OnlyFans, he said what ends up happening is like you'll peak and then you'll kind of start to plateau a little bit
because you got to constantly put out new shit.
Or you constantly people want to peak and they're seeing you. Now who's the next hot person? He was like, it's so you have to keep up with it. It's like a daily hustle, like an ongoing hustle to keep people engaged. So he was like, it's a lot of work. He's like, the pay out isn't, like that great because like you always having to do stuff, which makes sense because you have a lot of people on OnlyFans that cross collaborate, but also putting stuff behind a paywall sometimes like people. It's not like you can. I think sometimes for women it might be a little easier for them to profit than a man sometimes, but also it's like so much free porn that's out there. But then it's like also like trying to this is exclusive just for you. You want to pay extra for a tip and you do whatever. I can send you XYZ, but it's like constant hustle. I didn't mean to talk about this long, but let's.
No, you making sense. You making sense.
So it was interesting, but even talking to like the couple, just was interesting. But here we are.
Yeah. So, should we go serious first or do something fun?
Let's do one fun, then serious.
All right.
Serious.
All right. I know you remember this right here, right? I mean, everybody got to remember this right here.
Exciting things are happening at Burger King.
Welcome to Burger King.
Oh, what's in those new chicken snack wraps?
What's in the new chicken snack?
What's in the new chicken wraps?
Mary?
Crispy chicken, fresh lettuce, 3 cheeses, fresh dressing wrapped up in a tasty flour tortilla. Crispy chicken, wrapped up in a...
The new chicken snack wraps. Come and get it at Burger King.
Okay. Yes, of course we remember that.
Yeah, I think we're coming up on the 15th anniversary.
We are.
I remember when this came out, we had a ball on it, boy. Man. And then the brother on it's the roommates, right? Not roommates. What is the
house guest?
House guest. He has Mary J. Blige on, and he asked her this question about the crispy chicken.
In a place where you can laugh about that Burger King commercial.
No.
Crispy chicken, fresh lettuce, 3 cheeses, fresh dressing wrapped up in a...
I would never laugh at that because my honest to true fans did not think that shit was funny.
Yeah.
The whole way that shit went down was wrong. The whole way they shot it was wrong. It was set up to make exactly what happened in the press happen like that.
You really feel that way?
Yep. And so it's still not a laughing matter to me.
Yeah.
I was deeply, deeply affected. Now, I learned a lot from it.
Yeah.
But it's not something I'm like, no, it's not fucking funny. But laugh, you motherfuckers, if you want. Still, I don't care.
I hear that.
But the bottom line is my fans were confused, the real true fans, not the people that whatever.
Dip in and dip out.
Yes, but the people who was like, what's going on? And I didn't really know what was going on.
Right.
But I had bad representation, bad management, bad everything, and everybody dropped the ball, and I'm holding everything.
Yeah.
That was a learning curve, but it's still not funny.
People think or have a feeling that because it has been some time, right? Because you see people like doing renditions of the song online. You see people now having a totally different, in some ways, having a totally different perspective on that as it's just content. But that's your life.
That doesn't feel good still. It doesn't feel good because I was getting clobbered for no fucking reason. But it did show me something. 1 minute people are with you and 1 minute they are not. It showed me just how fickle the game is, and it showed me exactly who my friends were.
Really?
Yeah, a lot of my so-called friends are not around anymore.
No way. Because of that?
I was like a disease to people. Nobody wanted to be affiliated. So this is where I learned I go where I'm celebrated at, because they would treat me like I was a disease or something.
Yeah.
So I said, I know how to do this. Thank you, Lord, for the lesson. Thank you for getting me through it. Now I know how people get down.
Yeah.
And that was the blessing in the whole thing. Just learning how fucked up and fickle people are. And one day with you, when you hot, the minute some shit happens that you can't even explain, they gone. Everything is not funny.
All right. How do you feel about what Mary had to say? You know who the bad management was, though, right?
I was like, that was her ex-husband.
Okay.
I was like, oh, Kendall did that shit. Of course. Of course. You know, I think I'll give you the honest to God truth. I never understood what the big damn deal was about that.
Oh,
I think so. I think about where I was when that came out 15 years ago. 15 years ago, I was wrapping up college and getting ready to move out here. So I'm thinking about that time and I remember it because like I remember Backstreet Boys at one point, this was like years prior though, had a deal with them wasn't for Black and Blue, it was for something else. But I think I remember them even having kind of like a corny commercial with Burger King. You know, NSYNC had one with McDonald's or whatever. So I do remember there was a time where people were getting sponsorship deals with these brands, but I was like, oh, that's interesting. And I remember being more confused. I was like, damn, like this is kind of sharp, like the sound of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and when and people, if you don't know music, sharp is not good. Like you're sharp, like it's
yes, it's not good at all. People, I'm
sorry,
sorry,
it's not good. And I just remember that, and I was like, huh, okay. And then I moved on. I didn't know until probably in the last like few years that it was a thing. You know, like we talk about Duran singing about it, Keke Palmer, so many other people, but you know, you taking a step back and listening to her to see how people was like, you out here singing about a chicken sandwich, like you Black and you singing about chicken is very, very stereotypical. What were you thinking? So I could see the toll that mentally took on her. Clearly it's still fucking with her to this day. And people, I didn't realize that it impacted her interpersonal relationships.
Yeah, that was weird. That's
weird. But then that also talks about when we think about the business as a whole and kind of any industry that you're in, like you have acquaintances that are working, you have coworkers, and then you have people that are your true, genuine, legitimate friends. So I think when I take a step back, I was like, you know, damn, that's really messed up. But at least she was able to clean house and like see what was what. And I mean, if we being honest, like it seemed like Kendall probably had her in a lot of bad deals. You know, like you owing people, y'all was in all of this debt, and you know, you going on tour, not necessarily wanting to go on tour to pay off certain things. So like, you know, like I feel really bad for, you know, for Mary in a certain sense, because I think about like being in a space to experience her energy. And I will tell you this. It always seems like, you know, as Black people, we're always on the defense. And I feel like that's kind of how Mary J. Blige is, because she has had a very rough life. And I remember even when I was working in, you know, like retail or whatever, and the couple times that I've come into contact with her, it would almost be a shock that I was nice, but it's also my job. Like she would turn like one. It would be like, okay, damn, did I scare her? But then it's like how she would engage. It would be like there's a disconnect there. And so that has to be very rough to always kind of be on the defense and in survival mode. And I know that is our story a lot as Black people. And at her age, she should just be, chilling, putting out music projects here and there, working on in different projects, like, which I always say, hey, Mary need a boot line, a consistent boot line, not just the collab she did with Giuseppe, which did sell out, but also like a day to day like boot collaboration. She has great legs, she has great boots, that are designed for her. But I always say that like that's easy money. That's easy money.
Yeah, it was a thing then. It must have been some real, because I would have think that for all this time that she would have been able to laugh at it herself. But it must have been. But you know what? It's because the Kendu shit's involved. I think of like, this nigga got me out here doing some dumb shit and getting me trashed for. I think that and the because I think they were getting divorced like right after that, a little bit out right after that. So, and then didn't he have like a baby on her or something crazy or some shit like that?
Oh, did he?
Like, I think that chicken thing is tied to a lot of personal drama within her, other things going on too, that she ties it to that. Is why she takes this.
Well, no, that divorce wasn't final until 2018.
Oh, so but I'm saying she may be attaching that to pain of being fucking with Kendu.
Yeah.
And like, he had me out there doing this dumb shit, and so she probably has some trauma connected to it, where she can't laugh at it because it's not funny what she was going through personally. Maybe that's what I'm wondering.
Yeah.
Because I would think at this point, if it wasn't something tied to when she said I had bad people working me and bad management, I was like, oh, you doubled down on it like twice. Like,
yeah. I'm trying.
How else did she think this was supposed to be though? It was about the chick. That's the only thing I wonder is that how was the video not? She said so you look different. How was it supposed to look any different? Like, what was it that they claimed they was doing at first? You still was gonna be singing Christmas Chicken.
She had to pay him spousal support, which was $30,000 a month
for like a couple of years. She just got off that. I think.
Yeah, no. It said that it was only for 2 years.
Okay. If you notice, that's why she was touring hella at one point. If you notice,
yeah, and then it was like beyond the monthly $30,000, Blige paid over $200,000 in additional fees and attorney costs. Yeah.
Woo! All for crispy chicken.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, and then the report was that he had cheated on her with her protege.
Oh wow.
Yeah, then apparently, there was they said Corinne Steffens. Also,
how is she involved with this?
Yeah, they said that was the rumor, and then it said Mary J. Blige also claims that he blew like $420,000 of her money on his new girlfriend,
which was the protege, right?
I guess it says Kendu spent a whopping $420,000 of her money on what he called travel expenses, but Blige says the cash was used to romance a new girlfriend. Yep. Damn.
That's dirty work, boy.
Baby, dirty macking at its finest.
And maybe that's it though. Maybe I'm saying maybe all this stuff is tied to that trauma at that time. That's what I'm saying. The chicken thing, and then she's going through it in her marriage. So maybe that's why she can't laugh about it.
Yeah, I don't know. I just feel bad. Like some stuff, like, and I know people say, oh, y'all say when men should pay this and women shouldn't, blah, 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 blah. But I'm like, this is what I feel like people, at a certain point, if you enter a relationship with your
mic went down. Your mic went down all of a sudden for some reason.
Really?
There you go. You good now. Keep going.
I think I started talking real low.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I would say that, as soon as you have a manager, and the moment that he goes from manager to partner, I don't necessarily believe that that person should be over your business affairs anymore. Like, you have to enter somebody else in, because their best interest, while it may be you, it is sort of still for themselves. And so I think that you have to draw the line, because we see this happen over and over again with a lot of people. Like, oh, so and so has managed me, and then it doesn't like kind of really work out. And that's not to say that he wouldn't have still done what he would have done, but at least you would have had somebody with like clear judgment stepping in to manage your business.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one of them things, man, that Mary gonna have to get over it at some point, though. Well, you know what? I'm not gonna say that. She ain't got to get over shit in my eyes. I mean, if she don't feel like it.
Yeah, I mean, when it's your life, I think your experience is your experience, but I think it's just that I feel like she just feel like she can't get away from it, because it's still a thing. 15 years later, it is still a conversation.
That's what I'm saying, though. And I would hope that she would get past that before she can, move on and do some other fly stuff. And she is, though. She's not like she's not. But like, she was dead on serious with that. Even he was kind of like, "Whoa, wow, okay." Like, and he did a good job interviewing, like, not like pressing her on it. You know what I'm saying? After, because he thought he might shit, like, "Oh yeah, that shit." She was like, "No, that shit ain't funny."
Yeah.
I ain't over that shit yet.
Yeah, and then allowing her the space to say her piece. Because sometimes, especially in spaces like that, but he's actually like a journalist. He was working for like Extra, and they just pretty much canned everybody at Extra. Now, I don't know if he got the gig at Extra because of this podcast, or he was able to, I'm not sure which came first, but like, we see things where people consistently talk over, well, man, like you said, but he allowed her to have the space to say what she wanted to say, and to, validate her feelings. So I did like that.
All right, Dom. So what's been going on with Ruby Rose and Katy Perry? Like, what? This is wild, though, y'all. But I'm gonna let Dom break it down.
Oh my gosh. Actress Ruby Rose, and for people who don't know who Ruby Rose is, she was on Orange Is the New Black, and she stated that she alleges that Katy Perry assaulted her out of the club to the point where it physically left her sick, right? Mm-hmm. And so ultimately she shares the story of what happened to her this past weekend at Coachella, which was Katy Perry sexually assaulted me at Spice Market nightclub in Melbourne, which she who gives a shit what she thinks, because Katy Perry, I guess, has made a statement in regards to Justin Bieber said, which has also been very controversial, because he pulled out a laptop and video from YouTube. So people were really kind of confused by this whole set. So that's why she said that. She said, as a woman, for a myriad of reasons, opening up about, women on women violence and sexual abuse seems to be 100 times harder than speaking about male predators, at least for me. So someone said she kissed a girl and you didn't like it. And, Ruby Rose, it does identify, she's queer, she's lesbian. She said she didn't kiss me. She saw me resting on my best friend's lap to avoid her, and bent down, pulled her underwear to the side, rubbed her disgusting vagina on my face until my eyes snapped open and I projectile vomited on her. She said, then someone responded and saying, hey, you just can't drop that bomb, then yeet out of here. She said, after I threw up on her, I told the story publicly, but changed it to be a funny little drunk story because I didn't know how else to handle it. Later, she agreed to help me get my US visa, so I kept it a secret, but I did tell y'all she wasn't a good person. Instead, I got attacked by everyone. And she said I was only in my early 20s. I'm now 40. It's taken me almost 2 decades to say this publicly, though I'm so grateful to have had that I'm so grateful to have made it long enough to find my voice. It just shows how much the impact trauma and sexual assault takes. And thank you for seeing me. She said she's not interested in filing a report over this. Not when I have not even filed a report for the numerous rapes at the hands of grown men, but she is more than welcome to sue me. She won't because it happened. I have photos and it was literally in public and witnessed by multiple people. Plus, there's so much more that happened over the years leading up to her silly song, but she won't want me discussing. The psychological manipulation was strong with that one. She said, but hey, she wrote and signed the letter of recommendation for my U.S. visa application in the 2010. So there's that. She said, then someone told her, hey, it seems like you've been assaulted by everyone in the industry. Have you thought about going to the police? Everyone? No, just 2 from the industry, I think, and about 10 outside of it. Let's just say each case only took 6 months to resolve. And if I did, and I did them back then, did them back to back, you're asking too much of victims to spend 6+ years in court reliving their abuse. Yeah. So it's interesting because we've heard interesting discourse surrounding Katy Perry over the years anyway, you know, even as much so as her father, who was a pastor, speaking out against his own child. I would say this is interesting, you know, because it raises the conversation and it points the finger back at the victim, especially in this case, because she was able to gain something. But when we talk about sexual assault, sexual harassment, abuse, I don't think people understand the levels to it. And so in her doing this, you are, first of all, you did something. We talk about consent. Ruby Rose did not consent to you doing that to her. So, which makes sense. She said, I snapped, looked up, and I threw up because what WTF. And then when Katy Perry didn't get the response that she wanted, how can I control the situation? How can I not have this be a thing? Because remember, at this time, she's one of the biggest pop stars in the world.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But 20 years ago?
I take control of the situation. What can I do for this person?
20 years ago, Katy Perry, when did she come out?
Like 15 years ago, 15, 16.
So this is before both of them blew up. I mean, this is before, let me see, Katy Perry.
No, and actually Katy Perry is longer than that, because I think when I went to France in college, I feel like we were singing I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It. But I could be wrong.
Okay, her first album dropped in 01.
Okay, when did I Kissed a Girl come out?
I Kissed a Girl. Oh, hold on. Let me go back here.
Because Firework, I was definitely working at Saks, which was like the biggest song that year. And I remember because Louboutin had a pair of Fireworks.
2007.
That's what I thought. Yep. So her dropping, she wasn't mainstream famous until like around 07. That's why I was like, no, I was singing that shit.
So, maybe, but you know what? She'd already dropped this is on her second album. So she already had the first album. So she was decently popular for comparatively to Ruby Rose at the time.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So when we think about like the levels of abuse and all the criteria like that fall under harassment, abuse, people will be shocked. Like even little jokes at your office. Oh, and the person might not even be in the room. So and so got big titties.
Hold on.
That is sexual assault. That's sexual harassment.
No. This would make it more interesting. her first album is a gospel album.
I told you that.
No, I didn't really register to me like for real.
Her daddy is a pastor. Yeah, it's a whole.
I get it, but I was like, all right, is it really gospel? No, it's a real gospel album. Okay, this is weird for real. Now, that's why it took her 7 years to drop another album. Okay, yeah. Wow. All right. I mean,
now you pissed.
Cause man, I'm like, look, well, she said that Katy Perry helped her get her U.S. citizenship, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say, did she even remember that shit?
Who, Katy Perry?
Yeah.
You know, she remembered because she, you know.
I mean, I wonder if somebody else had to tell her, like, no, you did that shit.
Well, it's on the internet. It's out there.
Yeah, so but I'm talking about before Ruby Rose said it. I'm talking about one of her friends be like, hey man, you did put your pussy on that girl's face.
Probably, but she said that I'm trying to think it was some other thing that wasn't there, but I feel like she said that like she soberly did that shit.
Oh damn.
So in all of that, but see, at the end, even if she wasn't. I'm not trying
to give her excuse if she was sober. No, I'm just saying, like, I just wonder if she could have been that high lit. That's what I was wondering in a club in Australia and wouldn't even know. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not excusing it. I'm just trying to see if she'd be like, man, right. I don't even remember doing that.
Yeah, no, and ultimately, even if it is your version and was like, you know, but it's her way of trying to ultimately. That's how you know, like manipulate people. When we talk about manipulation is a part of sexual harassment, assault, all of that. So in that, you know, yes, Ruby got something out of it, but it's also the reason behind it because why, and not to say that they didn't have a friendship or, you know, any sort of relationship before where she wouldn't do that. But it's like now there's even more pressure because I don't want. Because, you know, she could have filed charges against her or even sued her. Which is why she really said what she said. She could sue me if she wants, but she knows she did it.
Because she knows she did it. I mean, and then maybe that's why she's always trying to hook her up. Man, I guess, I mean, I don't know. It's weird. It feels weird to me of like, why I know she said she didn't want to bring it up now, but like it's still kind of, I don't know. I'm not trying to do those things
where people get mad at victims for staying quiet. And
no, she should say something. I'm fine with her saying something.
Yeah, but, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's one of those, like, you know, I'm at this point, I'm in the industry, I'm working, I'm booking gigs, and I don't, like, it kind of, in a sense, mutes you. Like it not makes you not that it like, you know, weakens your light, but it just it you know, like how they say your throat chakra is blocked.
Yeah,
that's what happens a lot when it comes to, you know, assault, which is especially when it's people that are in high places. And the first assumption and first statement always is, oh, they just want money. And that's not always the case. It's like, this person really could be a monster.
Yeah, no. I mean, we got to give Ruby her space to go through what she's going through or what she experienced with her. But man, that's wild though. Katy Perry, wow, boy. Yeah. That's a wild girl. if that's true. This is all allegedly still, I guess. So we still got to say that.
Yeah, allegedly. That's our favorite word here.
Allegedly. All right, Dom, and let me see which one I want to go with. Oh, Afrika Bambaataa passed away in between us for our last recordings. Hip hop legend, all those kind of different things, but he was putting his hands on young men throughout time. Since the 80s, early 80s, all the way up until like 2017, 2018, when he got jammed up, and people start coming out, and he started having to settle for lawsuits and those things. After you find out all this stuff this dude did, it don't matter what he did for hip hop and what he did for those gangs in New York, because he was putting his hands on like the triple digits of young men.
Yeah,
over years, triple digits. And it was I was listening to a podcast, and the rapper Mickey Fax, shout out to Mickey Fax. He had a song with EA Sports for one of the NBA lives. I mean the NBA video games that come out. I think they did this song maybe late 2000, early 2010s. And Mickey Fax talks about how he had a young boy in the studio, and he thought it was kind of weird or whatever, and he made him rap on the track. And after Bambaataa did an ad lib, so he really went on the track. And so he said he didn't think about it until years later when you hear about all this stuff coming out. And he says that he went to EA Sports, the lady that hooked this up, and she was like, so he sent it. She's like, this ain't what we sent you over to do. He's like, hey, that's what he wanted to do. And she was like, oh, he was like, damn. He's like, we told him not to have that young boy in the studio with him when he worked with you.
Oh.
And like he said, it didn't trigger anything because he didn't think of anything, and he just thought he was putting on a dude, trying to put him on, not knowing. And the woman said like he's been repeatedly doing something like that. But this is all in like in his mind. This is after the fact. He's realizing he didn't think nothing of it. He was like, oh no, maybe he was being lazy, didn't want to be on the track. But she was like, we told him not to do that.
Damn. And so people kind of had an idea, but nobody was saying.
No, people knew. People knew. They just kept it on the low. Some people. I'm not saying Mickey Fax. Mickey Fax talked about like how he did not even like. It was just he didn't realize it after the fact.
I think the interesting thing that he was doing was like, it wasn't even necessary that he was like doing thigh penetration. So where it wouldn't be, so like they couldn't necessarily trace it back to him like that, like where he was like sodomizing people.
Oh, because it wasn't anything being penetrated technically.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's still horrible, man.
It's still horrible. And so you think about a lot of people that are out there in the industry that are skating by, that have always been
predators.
Yeah, predators. That's the best way to say it. You were correct. Predators. And when we talk about things like you said, I don't care what his legacy in hip hop is or whatever, it is similarly to that one guy that's from Chicago. It is the same thing, where it's like, well, you can say that, but then when you really start to, dissect his songs, who they're about, as his victims spoke out, it doesn't, it takes away from all of that. And I think that we, as a culture, sometimes we have this, I don't know why we feel like we have an obligation to protect predators. Like, we know so many people that have been victims of sexual assault. And that I just will never, ever, ever understand that. And so in that, it is one of those things where, okay, if you can turn your eye for this, you can fall for anything simply because somebody can, sort of sing a note because you're able to dance to it. Similarly to, there's a tour coming out and people have mixed reviews about the tour with R&B, which you said that they should do a long time ago.
Phone to phone.
If you said no, I'm talking about Raymond and Brown. I know it, Raymond.
Oh
Brown.
yeah. I talked about that a long time ago.
But people saying it is like Bumps and Bruises. That's the name of the tour. Because Brown hitting and then Homeboy allegedly spreading the hurt to people.
Yeah, nah. That's wrong, though. The bumps is wrong.
Bump the bump.
Because that's never been proven.
But it's one of those things where we know he did this. Like we know that he was out here giving people STIs.
Do we know that? Has that been proven?
The multiple lawsuits
Yeah, but all of them got thrown out, I thought.
No, those were settled.
No, because I know that one girl, the one more heavier set young lady, they threw hers out and they figured out she was lying because she didn't even have nothing at all.
Oh, see, I don't know about that one, but I know that it was a girl that, because that one recently resurfaced about this one girl that he was like messing with on the low for like years. But then, like, you know, even in the, you know, you had that guy come out and like how they described certain things, it was just kind of very similar. Like we said, allegedly.
Yeah.
I don't want us to get in trouble. Allegedly.
Yeah, because that ain't been proven yet. At least we ain't got nothing on that one.
Yeah.
But I mean, how do you feel about this Chris Brown tour though? Chris Brown Usher tour.
It's definitely controversial. I think people are listen, my issue with Usher has nothing to do, though that is allegedly, if this is, you know, allegedly, it is that chapter of that is messed up. But I just don't like recently some of the things that he's said, which we've spoken about on this show in regards to his connection with Puff Daddy, right? And him speaking out and completely kind of forgetting the interview that he had with the BBC when even asked like, oh, would you allow your child to be around this person? And you were like, no. And then to say, you know, and I'm not saying that the Call Me a Mac era wasn't great. You know, it was cool. You know, so many ways Usher is cool. But it was really the My Way era where, you know, where Janetta now is your manager, and you are like, it has you guys, Jermaine Dupri, you know, baby.
You didn't like the self-titled Usher album?
I think My Way made Usher a superstar, and then you have 8701 that still has him superstar, and then you have Confessions that makes him a global household name.
That was a good 3 album. That was a good 3 album run. Yeah,
so I'm like that from that point, those points, because then you kind of have a lot of people didn't like the next album, Here I Stand, because he took a little break, rightfully so, after Confessions, because Confessions gave us like a 2-3 year run for real, because you remember he came out and then did the deluxe edition, and then he had Rhythm City, where it was kind of like the little movie. So but I think that's the thing, that the controversial statements, and then we find out that Usher might not be the sharpest tool in the shed when it comes to his albums and song selection, which happens. We hear this all the time. But it was something about that was just really like, this was interesting. And the Chris Brown thing always conflicts me, because, you know, I think it would be one thing if it was just the Rihanna situation, but for us to know how he did behave when it came to incidents, it was a lot of incidents post Rihanna that kind of, but also still understanding he was still very young. Your frontal lobe hadn't fully developed until you're like 23, 25 or whatever. And so, and it's like, it's always something that's kind of like trouble kind of follows him, though he hasn't been in trouble in like the most recent years. But then I can go back to the whole thing at the last tour, you getting in a fight with somebody.
True.
And it's like, when are you going to stop being reactive? When are you going to go to therapy? When are you going to work on yourself and heal? You know, and it's not proving anything to us. You know, people are going to go to his shows, but it's like, you have children, you know, proving something to yourself. You know, and I thought it was interesting that he said the only reason why he was like still alive was because he had kids. You wanted to live for your kids, which is great, but you should want to live for yourself. That's a lot of pressure to put on your kids, anybody in general. So I think that's why it's kind of like I unfollowed Chris. I think it might have been last year when he had a free Tory post, and people about that like that whole Meg situation is weird. I even commented on some stuff yesterday, and I'm like, what does Tory Lanez like? Why does he have such a strong hold on y'all? Like we've spoken about this here. And so when I was going back and forth with the person on Facebook about it, like the conversation was she was wrong for sleeping with Tory Lanez, knowing that her homegirl was sleeping with him. And the true real story is Kelsey shot her. And I pushed back and I said, okay. I said, so yes, maybe I said, low key, they all could have been sleeping together. And, of course, it's like they wasn't sleeping. I was like, you live out here. You know how it is. They could have hooked up, done some other stuff. And I don't think she went behind her friend back fully. I'm not giving her any sort of way because it's all nasty. He ugly anyway. So I don't know why y'all even
letting this roll like this.
And so I said, here's the issue. She's like, he wasn't charged, it was him violating probation and having a weapon. That's why he in jail for real. I said, no, he got charged for disarming a firearm.
What if DOC never got into that car accident? What if Ice Cube didn't leave NWA? What if the game never leaves G Unit? What if Teddy Riley never moves to Virginia? What if we got that J. Cole and Kendrick album? What if the RZA would have never had that flood? How would the hip-hop world sound today? Welcome to Hip Hop What Is, the podcast where we dive into the biggest what could have beens in hip-hop history. From iconic album delays to game-changing partnerships that never happened. We reimagine the culture we love and explore its alternative paths. And you are now at Hip Hop What Is.
So let's not forget that. He lucky only got 10 years out here for real, because they don't play with guns out here. This is not an open carry state. But I just was like, I would like to push back and let's discuss the phone call. And I, also referencing he's not from here. And so what do you have to, you don't owe the streets, you don't have to abide by the street code. You perpetrating at this point. If you're hooting and hollering saying you didn't do this, like I said, I would like to let's pick apart the phone call. Let's pick apart the phone call. Why did you call? You shouldn't have said anything. I always say that. It's like, it's the phone call that paints a different story.
Hey, I'm just saying, man. It's just a that's all mess, man.
But then when we go back to like abusers, assault, all of that different things, it's just like, why is it always the victim's fault? Yes, she had lied and said that she shouldn't have slept with him. I wouldn't have answered the question.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have answered the question. I was like, why is that relevant to this interview? That's what they should have prepped her on that. And then when whatever came out in court, great, whatever. But it's the fact that I get people like, well, she lied about this. What else is she lying about? It's not relevant. Everybody nasty. So why? The better question is like, why was he sleeping with the both of them and he knew they was best friends? That's why I said that's weird. That's what makes me believe that there was more than just solo sex happening. There was a group sex.
More than solo sex. That's hilarious. That's funny. So since we're talking about some similar with these is all these string of things happening to young Black women and families. You have Ashley Janae, the young lady who supposedly offed herself in Tanzania with her fiance at that point.
Yeah, on that trip.
Yeah, so then it's a whole nother thing. You got the racial component of that and the other things she was saying with that. Then you got Justin Fairfax, former lieutenant governor of Virginia, who, offed his wife right in front of their kids,
Yep.
and then killed himself. And you know, then you got Shamar Elkins, who killed 7 of his kids in Shreveport, Louisiana. And then you got right before all those, it kind of kicked these. Not gonna say kick these off like that was a movement. Nancy Metoyer Bowen, who was a vice mayor of Coral Springs, whose mate ended up, taking her life. And it's a lot of discourse around this, in a lot of different ways. The Assassinate thing, the Justin Fairfax thing with Roland Martin and him putting up that post, which, I disagree with. I understand what Roland was trying to do, but this ain't the moment to be representing for your friend, because just like we talked about with Afrika Bambaataa, the last thing he done is killed his wife. And also before that, he had already been, the reason he didn't become governor was he got jammed up for 3 or 4 essay situations that he was accused of. Or improprieties. Let's say improprieties. I'm not going to say that, improprieties. So all these things made me start thinking, man. And then I'm going to play this clip from my man Dre Witt, who's helping them doing a lot of things with men's mental health, men's actual overall health wealth. And then I'm going to play you somebody that tried to stitch him in response. And then I'll let you talk on it. Then I got something to say after that. But here's Dre.
These are not isolated incidents. And I think that's what so many women are feeling right now. Not just sadness or anger. I think women are flat out exhausted right now, because when the same type of violence keeps happening over and over, women have to start asking themselves a very painful question. And that question is there any way for them to feel safe at all? Even with the man they married, even with the man they sleep next to, even the man that they have kids with. And that should disturb every single last one of us. Because violence in the home is not just some private family business. It is a public health issue, because it affects safety, it affects mental health, it affects trauma, it affects the long-term health of families and communities. And so, yeah, men's mental health matters, and I'm not saying that it doesn't. But here's what I am saying. Struggling is not an excuse to become dangerous, and pain is not a reason to go terrorize women, and emotional instability is not a reason to go destroy your whole family. That's just unacceptable under any circumstance. And I think that's where men need to say this more to other men, because men take cues from men, and male culture itself rewards certain things and we punish certain things. And a lot of what people call man law is usually enforced by the men, not the women. So if that's true, then we as men have to set a better code. For example, a man doesn't threaten women, a man doesn't use fierce control, and a man doesn't make the kids pay for adult pain. And he also doesn't turn his rejection, shame, or anger into emotional collapse or destruction of the whole family. And if a man is spiraling, the answer is help and accountability and intervention, and even distance before harm. Not silence, not excuses, not that's their business, and not waiting until another funeral to finally say something. Because if male culture is going to shape male behavior, then healthy men have to be the ones to help shape the culture too. And so women shouldn't have to live their whole lives wondering if every love they find is going to come with hidden danger. And the kids shouldn't have to pay for adult dysfunction with their lives. And men need to make some things flat out unacceptable again. Not next week, not after the next tragedy. They need to do it now.
All right. Now, somebody had a rebuttal to this. They found his shit, and they had a rebuttal.
Not safe at all. Even with the man they married, even with the man they sleep next to, even the man.
And the problem is that none of these men feel safe with these women either. And they're pushed to the point, which is what you're not talking about. You don't talk about anything that the women do to push men to that point. Men are tired of working on themselves and changing. Talk to your sisters. Tell them to change and start to respect men, and things will change. It's that simple, bro.
For you both.
Do you want me to go first, or do you want to go first?
Okay, so this is interesting because I had a buddy of mine send me a video clip of this white girl, which I was confused. I was like, "Oh, you don't know me," and I'm gonna say that with a lot, like you don't know me. So, and because if you to know me is to not send me no shit like that. And so it was I was really confused because it was kind of similar sentiments. And I said, so I want to play just a snippet.
Mhm.
Divorce rates, 2 women. Lowest divorce rates, 2 men. Highest rates of domestic violence, 2 women. Lowest rates of domestic violence, 2 men. 75 to 80% of divorces filed by women. Top reasons: boredom, unhappiness, no longer compatible. Highest rates for maltreatment of children by women. Women consume social media at a far higher rate than men. Women are also 3 times more likely to deal with mental health issues than men. When you share these statistics, you are automatically labeled a misogynist pick-me who hates women. But fortunately, I care more about truth than being accepted by the sisterhood. I'm also
So, and then she says,
not a girl's girl, I'm a woman's woman, which means taking radical responsibility and accountability for my own gender. And the truth is, we have a lot of work to do. What has happened?
So in that kind of feeds into what the man was saying, right? Like women need to be accountable or whatever. And
I agree with that. But
No,
his rationale is bullshit.
But and that's what I was saying here. I don't think that it is. I think it takes 2 to tango, right?
Mhm.
So him saying that, oh, you have to ask what did that woman do to that man to make him snap? Okay, we all have the right to free will, right? And we just talked about, I just said a couple of minutes ago, hey, what's going on in your life that's making you very reactive? This is something that I've spoken about even to my girlfriend as recent as this morning when we were talking about dating, life, and relationships. And I said, are people confused about so-and-so's behavior because she's not as reactive as they would like her to be? I said, because you don't understand the work that takes to not be reactive. It is an ongoing process and struggle for a lot of us, but to take a step back and be like, damn, what should I cuss them out or should I just let this go? Right.
Mhm.
And move forward, because everything does not need to be said. Right. So in all of this, there are multiple cases here where the women have tried to walk away. Somebody filed for divorce with the guy that killed the 7 children and all of that stuff, who goes to his army. I think he was in the army. I think it was his army commander ends up at his house because the commander spoke out and said how he was upset with himself because there was no signs of, he showed no signs, or maybe he felt like he missed the signs that could have prevented this from happening, which I get, that's a lot to carry. So I hope he releases that from his mind and not carry that burden. But I saw that to say, I think it is a team effort. We talk about the collective. We talk about different programs that are put in place. Even as recent as you got programs in St. Louis. We seeing the group that you told me about that's on Instagram. It's people actively trying to do the work, but it's about doing the work, and it's fucking hard. Walking away from toxic situations are hard. People 9 out of 10 times don't walk. It's convenience. And then we talk about the safety aspect of it from women when we attempt to leave, and even on the male side, because it does happen. It does happen. Where people really do try to take that route, but then we're putting our lives in danger, our family lives in danger, simply because I no longer want to deal with this anymore, right? I don't think it's fair to blame, we need to think about this, like that. No, it is okay. Collectively as a whole, how can we collaborate and work together to make strides, to make, domestic violence, lower numbers lower. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm not saying, it's men's fault. It's women's fault or with all this stuff. But the issue also too is like, while he said it is an issue amongst men, I would like to challenge that a little bit and say it's an issue because you do have women that cater to men and that are male centered, that allow certain things to happen and uphold the patriarchy.
Mm-hmm.
So I would push back there and say it's not just men, it's women that feed to it, just like the clip right here, and saying, it's women's issue. And I'm not saying, again, women don't need to take accountability or anything like that. That is true. but also is men also need to take accountability because men still out
And
here.
that's the thing. They
But
don't
it's
want,
not-
they
but
don't
it's
want
not
that.
y'all- But I
Because
think,
I'm gonna give an example. The chick Ashley Renee, every motherfucker was sitting out here trying to blame her for this white man allegedly
and
killing her.
that's my problem. Yep.
So what one? Which way is it?
And that was the thing. They were like, well, she said this about black men. She's like,
I could care less. If that
and
young
that's
lady
what I
has
said.
her opinion,
So
her losing her life is a totally different thing to me.
And, and that's what I said. You know, even in the case of like it was another influencer who was saying stuff about black women. I said that doesn't mean that he deserves to die.
Yeah, that was the one. The brother that he was killed by his white girlfriend.
White girlfriend, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, so
you deserve to die, man.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying. I was like, so the words you're saying pretty much say that, okay, we should not mourn her or care. I said, y'all keep showing the same tweet. I said, okay, which is okay. I can see how you could be upset. I'm like, but what happened? That something could have happened that news day and something in the news cycle where she could have posted that, maybe she was, but also even still, it does not hold that much of weight where this girl should die. And I think that's my thing with a lot of stuff. Like you said, we pick and choose. And that's the thing is like we have no solid foundation of what the code of conduct is.
Yeah, I'm not saying that like there's a whole bunch of blame to be passed along, but in these situations here where women, motherfucking dudes, they think they be fucking listening to women. Y'all don't, man. And I want like you and the other women around me, man, that have like y'all taught me so much over the, and of course having a little girl, but taught me so much of like listening to y'all. I mean, we still gonna bump heads on gender wars. We always gonna do that shit. But when it comes to shit like certain stuff, sometimes I just gotta listen to you and see where you're coming from. Period. And maybe if we listen to them, I'm not saying you gotta agree, but listen to what women are saying and what their experiences have been through with shit.
Yeah.
Because you can say like I don't know what can push you to go kill 7 kids. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
I don't know what it is, and I'm sorry. It's selfishness because that man that killed his wife, the lieutenant governor that killed his wife in front of his kids, that was because of whatever emotional thing he was going through wasn't worth his kids either, though. Because at the end of the day, even if I did want to do something to you, I don't want to put my kids in a situation where they're without their mother or seeing these situations in front of them. So that means I'm selfish about my little feelings that she didn't hurt because she's trying to divorce me.
Yeah.
So that means that's on me. As a man, I'm not controlling my feelings. We talk all this shit about, niggas don't never have no feeling, women live off emotion, all this shit. You're seeing multiple situations where men are moving off emotion too, and then the gentleman in that video wouldn't have said, "Oh, well, I thought you don't move off emotion. I thought it's only women that move off emotion. We don't move off logic. That don't make logical sense for you to go do that to your family or go to your loved one, regardless."
And I'm not trying to be funny. Even the rebuttal, you could tell.
That's what the rebuttal, not Dre. Shout out to you, Dre. You was good.
Yeah, in the rebuttal video, that guy, you can tell somebody clearly hurt him. Ain't got sick of shit. You can tell in the tone of it. Yeah. Which 9 out of 10 times happens. And like I'm saying, I'm like, the difference.
You gotta go to therapy too. And we just start. And he said we tired of changing. Niggas that start going to therapy 5 years ago. Like I'm talking about as a culture of saying like it's okay 5 years ago. How much time you think?
5 years ago, for real.
Man,
but that's my thing. It's just like
we ain't had a generation doing it yet. So what time are we talking about?
Yeah.
And that just frustrates me from like, man, and I get it, man. I know the world beats us up as black men, but at some point, we as men, particularly black men, are going to have to start listening to our women at some point about some shit. And not think it's just women just talking shit. I'm sorry. Because I'm tired of seeing these women out here getting these situations happening to them.
Yeah.
And a nigga always will bring up one random thing where a girl may have done something to a man. that's what we gonna pick 1 out of 50, and then it happens to them men too. I'm not saying it don't. We've talked about it on this show where we be like, this is some wild shit.
Yeah.
But majority of the time, it's men's egos getting them caught up, and they don't care about nobody but themselves.
Yeah, that's true. And I think the other thing that's frustrating about it all is just like when we do say stuff, it's kind of like it's the nature of the game or whatever. And
Let the game play out for itself. Your vengeance, God. Y'all all religious all the time until it's about vengeance, because they say, "Well, your vengeance is only for God to have." Let that happen then. Y'all be so religious any other time, but you gotta exact your own vengeance, especially after you're a certain age, man. I ain't exacting no revenge, man.
Yeah, but that goes back to when we talk about like self-control. And always, the saying is like a peaceful person is like also can be a dangerous person, because you don't know the work that they went through to get to that point, to obtain that peace, and how they used to be before. And I think it's one of those things where it's just like people have to go back to figuring out and excuse me, what's important. Like what's important in your life. If you don't, like you said, if you don't have any self-worth or value for yourself, how can you extend that to other people? How can you love other people? How can you understand other people? And it's not even just about, a lot of that is because a lot of people don't love themselves. And so they go out and they're impulsive. They do make decisions and, that are very final and permanent decisions in their lives, simply because of that reaction. I could tell you, I think the last time I was reactive was when I probably cut somebody out at a birthday party like 5-6 years ago. Like, I was just like, oh, I see you playing with me because I fucking said something to you and I told you. So now here we are. And it was like somebody's birthday and I didn't give a fuck. And till this day, do I feel like I could have handled things different? No. But I called one of my homeboys and he had been in therapy. He's in therapy, had been by that time. And he started to kind of therapize me and talk me down and then ask questions. Okay, so because of this, what has transpired prior to today that made you react like that? And then as you're starting to ask the question and you're seeing the cycle, you're seeing the pattern of things. And then it made sense. Because even before that, I was like, I'm like, I don't really give a fuck, whatever, that's my personality. Because I just, it sometimes certain things aren't that deep, and a lot of times it don't have nothing to do with you for real. When you think about people and the way they show up and how they respond to you, don't have nothing to do with you. And then from that moment on, I was like, I don't like what this feels like, what this looks like, and I don't want to be here anymore. Like when I say be here, be in that situation anymore, because normally I have a grip on things. And so from there, it also kind of taught me to respond to people differently, and just slow down and take a beat, and being able to speak up, advocate for myself. That doesn't mean that the person on the receiving end is always going to understand. But it is one of those things where I was like, for my health, for my safety, I have to do this for me. It's not about anybody else. This is for me. And I think that's what a lot of people have to step back and understand. And like you mentioned, men saying that they're logical, they're not emotional. And clearly we have a dozen situations where we clearly see that, speaking to what you said, that's not true. But it's also, men have to realize that they're not taught to regulate their emotions like women are. At a very young age, you guys are not taught that. It is, men don't have emotions, but you do. You have hundreds of thousands of emotions. And
yeah, but the main emotion, no, Dom. I think this pussy's mine forever. That's the emotion.
Well, that's why I said hundreds, thousands of emotions. So okay, I have this emotion. Okay, so what does that make me feel? How does that make me feel? Right? And then we pick apart this. Okay, so why is it that you're really upset because this person is leaving you? Why are you upset? And then you look at the track record, like you said, somebody was cheating on his wife, doing all this stuff, and the moment that she's fed up and ready to move on, I need to make her life hell. We see it. This is a story you tell us all this time. Well, okay, so what really is that? Is it what being able to dissect that within yourself instead of projecting that onto other people, and now and then you're killing people. You doing stuff to hurt people, like your kid, like her, like you have traumatized your children for the rest of their lives.
Yep. So that's what I'm saying. If, like I said, at the minimum, if you cared about them, at the minimum, is what I'm saying. So,
and we talk about this, but then we talk about the like. I just saw this clip of and it's, she's South African, but she's not Black. Charlize Theron telling the story of her mom killing her father. Damn. In the house, raging alcoholic. She was saying how controlling he was, and she details like the entire at this big age. She's grown. This happened when she was 15, and thank God she likely had access to therapy. But she's just telling this story about how it started with he had been abusive. They went to like a family, like an uncle's house or somebody's house, and Charlize needed to go to the bathroom. She's a kid, so and she was like, in our culture, like when you go into people's house, you speak, which is proper, just proper basic etiquette. But she had to go to the bathroom so fast, she kind of like did a quick hello, but ran to the bathroom. So the daddy was really mad and upset. And they only went to this person's house because they needed the key to get into like the gates to get into the house. And so, which is crazy. You see how that controls that. Yes. That's controlling right there. So he was mad at her. So Charlize knew she was going to get in trouble because he already had been drinking with her uncle, blah, 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 blah. So she was like, I'm going to bed early. Like, when he comes home, tell him that I'm asleep. I don't want to get in trouble. I wasn't trying to be, disrespectful. So he comes home and chaos erupts. And ultimately, like he had weapons. I think he was shooting at their house or something, she said. So the mom went into the safe to get a gun, which there were multiple weapons in apparently. So then the dad comes home, they're tussling, fighting, all this stuff. He goes to the safe to get a gun and tries to shoot them. And whatever it was, the mama had the door closed and he was bamming something, and she shot him through that door and killed him. Ooh. Because that story probably would have ended completely different with her and her mama getting killed by that man.
Ooh. Did she have to do time for it, or did they say self-defense? They give her
self-defense.
Everybody knew what was going on.
She didn't mention it, but I would assume how freely she spoke. I don't think her mom got any time.
Yeah, and people probably knew what was going on too.
Yeah. So we talk about that, like you're just being reactive because you have all these suppressed emotions. Like it really, like when we say go to therapy, and it's not just men that need to go to therapy. We are very well aware of it, but the domestic violence numbers show otherwise. Like y'all need to go, and you go. So I'm not saying you, but
Yeah, we all do. I mean, and we all fall short. We all just trying to learn to be better people, over time. Yeah. We always trying. But at the same time, man, I don't. This is not the time period you be talking about what women could do to push the man to. Like, this ain't the time for that. Like, if you want to have a discussion, I necessarily don't want to. But this definitely ain't the time to have a discussion right now when we have 4 or 5 cases in a week in a row. You know, so this ain't the time to be trying to have that. What women do to push. If you want to have it, let's not have it right now. Is my main thing. So they finally arrested David, David, for the young lady in the trunk of the vehicle. It seemed like it was long. I seem like it's been like that's been forever.
It really feels like that. Like I'm like, dang, like it feels like. I'm just happy that they finally got him because I felt like it didn't point to anybody else. And like the whole thing with this is that she being underage, you know, running away from home allegedly, and being seen in videos with him. And then like the rumor was saying that, she might have been like pregnant by him, and then that's a whole nother thing, when we talk about the statutory laws and statutory rape, all of that. And so prosecutors allege singer David killed Celeste Rivas Hernandez with a sharp instrument that mutilated her body in an attempt to conceal the crime, according to newly filed
no, Dom. It was a year ago that they say she passed away April 23rd of last year, but they ain't find her body to the 8th of September.
Oh damn. Okay. And then but then also you buying things that show that you likely did this. So investigators claim Hernandez went to David's Hollywood Hills home in April 2025 and was never heard from again. Prosecutors reportedly list April 23rd as the date they believe the killing occurred, while the body was mutilated on May 5th. Officials further claim that the teen's dismembered remains recovered in bags, that the condition of the body made it difficult for the medical examiner to properly determine the exact cause of death. Investigators are also reviewing an alleged trip David took to a remote area of Santa Barbara during that time frame. The complaint includes special circumstance allegations of lying in wait, financial gain, and killing a potential witness. District Attorney Nathan Hodgman said prosecutors believe Hernandez threatened to expose the alleged sexual relationship that he had with the defendant, acted to protect his career. The defense attorney say David has, of course, denied the allegations and was not, and that David was not the cause of her death. The singer was arrested last week in what described as a major law enforcement operation. If convicted, the most serious charge he could face is severe penalties under California law. So, I mean, like, who else would do this? And that's the thing, like, unless
what's the other motive? What's anybody else's motive?
Right. Because she didn't do it to herself.
No.
She didn't cut herself up. And who else would, you know what I mean? And like we said, like, you was dating this underage girl. And maybe it could have been something like he was trying to leave her alone, break up with her, whatever. And that's what they were saying. He was messing with some other girl that looked similar to her. So he has a type. And he was trying to move on, but she was going to expose him, which would have gotten him in trouble. You didn't think, and this is what I mean by stupid criminals. Jay Leno used to have a segment on his show called Dumb Criminals or Stupid Criminals. And you like, okay, not only am I going to kill this girl, but I'm going to put her in a Tesla
and just drop it off somewhere
that is linked to me.
And drop off in a regular neighborhood, like not even, and like in
it could just get told. And you was hoping that nobody would ever smell any.
Not even just that though. If the car sits there, they're going to just search it in general. If anything, it'd be different now. If
it's going to go to auction after a while.
Or you should put it in a junkyard at least. But he's young too though, ain't he? He's only like 21.
Yeah, he is young as well, but it's just like, okay, yeah,
he's 21 now. He's 21 now.
It's so many ways that he potentially still could have had his career and been done with this and moved on with his life. But no, you decided to kill somebody because you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
Like we talk about emotional and not being able to control your emotion and look at, as my mother would say, the Z before you step into the A. What are these consequences if I make this decision? What is it? And if people took a moment to take a beat, that's how you can prevent yourself from being in fucked up situations. But you decided to, in a rage, I'm gonna kill this girl, and y'all, and they're gonna find out it's premeditated, because based on all of that stuff that he's purchased, and then you took, and if it come out that he did kill that girl at Santa Barbara, you getting first degree.
You done on right. He did it shit. They got him all jammed up.
Do you think we stupid or do you think we dumb?
All right, Don. But you want to talk about hemorrhoids and cell phones, or Kanye West not being able to go in the UK?
If hemorrhoids might go fast enough, we might be able to talk about it. Look, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all something about hemorrhoids and being on the phone on the toilet. So, a rise in hemorrhoid cases among young people is being linked to prolonged phone usage on the toilet, which increases sitting time, pressure, and poor posture. Experts recommend limiting time on the toilet, avoiding phone use, and improving posture to reduce the risk. Y'all sitting there pressing on y'all booty holes while y'all on the phone in the bathroom. We supposed to be using squatty potties anyway, and we don't.
That's true. It's true.
To release that tension on our buttholes, your anus. I'll stop saying booty hole. But
I mean, that's what I mean. Sexy Red from the crib. I mean, you can kind of ride with it, I guess.
Yes, and so that is. I think this is just it's a funny fact that is now out there, because people are just scrolling. You remember back in the day, we would read newspapers, or you would pick up something and you would read it.
I still read books on the toilet.
Okay, you read books. I might scroll, but also like not trying to spend too much time, because I'm like, can I make this quicker? Because I hate when my feet fall asleep. You get up and you fall over.
No.
It's not fun.
I know, but it's just funny. Your feet fall asleep.
And it's so I think it's just one of those things. It's just, I wonder, okay, so we talk about the evolution of man. And I wonder if, like, as phones, because we're always like this, I wonder if there's an increase also in hunchbacks. Like, if that will become a thing, like the hunchback will become a thing because people are always, on their phone. Like, is this something that genetically will become a thing just simply because of that?
I mean, we need to get an anthropologist on here or something, man, that maybe could tell us if that'll be a couple of generations.
Yeah, I'm like, I would wonder if that will be something that will ultimately develop.
That's interesting, though. I can't front. Well, Don, where can people hit you up at?
Oh, wait, we're not getting out of here this quick.
Oh, go ahead.
I want to talk about this viral clip that is when they talk about working from home.
Oh,
and
okay.
Emma, I think her name is Emma Greedy, and she's like a woman from the UK, and it sparked a lot of controversy, which has been an ongoing conversation, honestly, since we've kind of, I would say, since the height of COVID is no longer here, though COVID is still a thing. And the concept is all these corporations and companies wanting, having return to office.
I got it. Hold on. Is this the one Emma Grady says working from home, career suicide?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to play it in a second. Keep talking.
Okay. So in that, like, we've seen different corporations, like, kind of reinforce this, this lifestyle of going back to work. Is they, their reasoning behind it is creating office culture, community, and things like that. where a lot of people, and some have gone as far as quitting their jobs or potentially taking pay cuts to continue to work from home because they feel like it's an overall better quality of life, right? Which is true. You're not sitting in traffic commuting to work. You're not spending as much money on gas, the time that you save from working from home. And recently, as last week, she's been on podcasts kind of pushing the narrative of why people need to return to office. So
all right, here she is.
Here we go.
From home culture is a career killer for women. And let me explain to you why. Remembering that I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of women that work for me. Now, what is happening is that we talk about all of this sort of upside of Zoom culture, but none of the rigidity of it. And no one will really tell you. But careers require proximity and visibility. You want a pay rise? You want the next promotion? You want the big corner office? Guess what? You need to be there. You might not want to hear it because it might be comfortable in your living room, but the facts are the facts. And I'm not here to sugarcoat information or to load women up with toxic positivity.
So you almost feel like it's a way to also, I don't want to say push us out, but it's almost slowly a way to be like, you're not needed or you don't really, it's not there's no urgency because you're away.
It's eroding the potential for women to be successful.
Interesting.
Period. End off. Your boss won't tell you that.
All right, we got more. Hold on.
Oh, it's okay. That is the gist of it. So she's just bringing.
It's 2 more clips if you want.
No, she's just reiterating why.
Okay.
And which I can explain the other clips that she was saying as a whole. So she's been on, I think Joe Budden's podcast and other podcasts talking about it. And you have people.
Did she run Sheen, right? Did she run Sheen? I think.
No, her husband is the CEO of Skims, one of the core.
Okay, that's what it is. I knew it was something like that. Okay.
So
yes.
I want to speak to a couple of things here. So she's saying women, black women, whatever. I didn't know she was black until recently when they said, I saw something where it, referred to her as black. So I didn't know that. So I want to start here where.
So she's Trinidadian. She's Trinidadian and white.
Yeah. I didn't know that until recently when somebody was talking about black owned businesses, and I was like, oh, she's black? Okay, whatever. And I'm not gonna take her blackness from her. What I want to say is there's this thing that happens where we have people that identify as black from other countries speaking for everyone, because we know that American woke culture is completely different from the rest of the world. They prioritize a work-life balance. You can go to lunch with your coworker, and it is frowned upon to talk about work at lunch. They have siestas, they have certain schedules where they allow their people to have time off and be paid for it. So they have a healthier balance. And I'm not going to say every place like that, depending on the industry that you work in. I would say for women, and I can only speak for black women, and being one of the 300,000 plus black women that.
The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a show for 80s babies who were 90s kids. If you were a No Limit soldier, then this is your show. If you believe that Cash Money is not an army but was a Navy, this is the show for you. If you and your friends ever tried to sing a song written by Escape, In Vogue, Shy, or Boyz II Men at a talent show during middle school, this is your show. The I Only Listen to 90s Music podcast is a bunch of 80s babies talking about all the songs and things that we loved when we were kids and teenagers. So if you went to the skating rink and you were at a lock-in, this is the show for you. If you think that Tevin Campbell was the original Prince of R&B, this is the show for you. If you don't understand the conflict between Monica and Brandy, but you're kind of on Monica's side and understand why Brandy got punched, this is the show for you. Make sure that you tune in, subscribe, click the little subscribe link. We're here. We're going to talk about all things 90s music. This is the show for you.
Laid off in the last year, I can only speak to what my life has been like working in spaces where you are, whether it be on the retail side, the corporate side of that, having to be on all the time. My experience has been with people that sometimes are like her, that are, oh, I'm a boss, I do this, I do that, where you work with somebody, you have a toxic boss, where you are trying to connect with them and there's like a hard line, but there's no sort of mentorship or direction there. And it's like the conversation is, you should know. And so I would push back and challenge that. I would challenge the toxic workplace as a whole. You know how toxic work can be. You have, on top of office culture, you don't necessarily have partnership there. You don't, especially as Black people, because we always have to go above and beyond.
Mm-hmm.
And then Tom is always going to get the credit for something that you did. I have had.
And on top of that, like if I'm working remote, all my companies aren't in St. Louis. So what you want me to move to such and such, or you want me to move here? And I make more money every year. I've made more money every year. Now I don't know. I'm a Black man, so I don't want to speak. She's saying for Black women. So
yes, and so, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you talk about visibility, but visibility is about connection. And I can connect with somebody from my laptop being at home. Now, I think it depends on I can only say this depending on the industry that you're in, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there, you can show up and show yourself and present and do all these things that you want to do, even in office. And we have seen, ourselves and our counterparts that look like us be passed up for promotions time and time and time again. I think about from the perspective of being in a job where you're consistently getting harassed, all the time. Because you have to show up for work, and even if you have what you're getting, and I can attest to that, right? I've had almost every job that I've had, I've gotten sexually harassed on, and that says a lot.
Damn. And
so you think about that. You think about people being jealous. So you think about microaggressions, passive aggressions, the gossip. So like that takes a mental toll on you. And I would like to push back and say that working from home has allowed us to have an escape. And it gives us, again, a better work-life balance. You could take your time and get things done. Yes, you have a deadline. If you're a procrastinator, you're going to wait to the last minute anyway, regardless if you're in office or not. But there's ways for you to connect with the people up top if that is something that they're open to. Now, at my last company, I would say that the CEO wasn't necessarily the friendliest. Like there have been times where I have walked past him and he said nothing, not even a hello. And it wasn't just me. It was multiple people that looked like me and other people of color that have all had the same sentiments. And I don't know if that was something that was intentional. I would say toward the end of my career there, because of certain meetings or whatever that I would go to, or if it was something happening in office, I would make the effort to go. And I would say I hit it off with the COO that they hired, that they would fire a month after I got let go, which was weird because she had just started like 6 or 7 months prior. But that's what I'm saying. I'm like, while people say that, I think you have to look at it through the lens of what people are really experiencing. And when we talk about abuse and all of that stuff, what happens, that also comes at the hand of being in these spaces. And like you said, for you, it's not beneficial at all because your company not there, and they gonna what? I'm paying you all this money, and then I'm gonna also have to pay to relocate you.
Nope, they ain't gonna do that.
They're not gonna do that. A lot of people like, okay, this person can work from home. We have a great relationship with him. He goes to the meeting, he does this. But like I said, that's also up to the person. But then it's also on the receiving end of that. Is that what that CEO or this person, this department head wants? Is that how they interact? And also, I would like to push back and say, when you have people with different disabilities, that provides them a layer of safety as well, because you can have different, disabilities and personality disorders this allows me safety and comfort of my home where I can relax and not have anxiety, not have to stress that people are going to understand me or think that I'm weird, and I don't have to worry about making friends with people. Like, that's a lot of pressure.
Oh, there's tons of pressure.
Yeah.
There's tons of pressure. I mean, and it is what it is with it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
she could be right in some instances, you know, but I think that we need to be more open-minded about how this new work, these new work environments are going to be going and looking like.
And to me, it's a waste of it's a waste of money for the company.
Mm-hmm.
You know, trying to push work culture, you know, office culture, and I'm like, y'all can save millions of dollars a year if y'all just let people work from home.
Like, it's real easy.
It's really easy. It's if your company doesn't need to rent the office space or buy the office building, let people work from home. That's all. Now where people can find me.
Yeah, where can we find you?
In the comments, rebutting, you know, things like that. And, you know, at St. Angeles is where you can find me on the interwebs.
All right. Make sure you also hit us up, you know, keep us locked in. You can hit us up on the voicemail 314-649-3113. And we appreciate y'all as always. And we'll be back soon. Peace.